Okay, so now I'm starting sharing my presentation.
Right.
Biodiversity is a very complex system, and it is a very important resource for human as well as all the resources. Uh, and It is a very important part of politics, economics, social aspect, environmental, cultural, religious, uh, and it is a very important aspect in sustainable development also. So whatever developmental agenda are there, in that biodiversity plays very important role. But in current scenario, due to urbanization, industrialization, as well as due to the threat of climate change, it is very important to pay special attention to biodiversity conservation by mainstreaming it into our developmental agenda. So I will not go into much detail about biodiversity loss, but among all the factors, uh,
Please unmute, Professor Seema. Please unmute yourself. Professor Seema, please unmute yourself.
yes, I have unmuted. I have unmuted. Now you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you now.
So post-COVID, biodiversity conservation will be very important, and for that, it is very important to identify viruses in wildlife globally and identify potential threats, identify emerging disease hotspots, and define strategy for control, and emphasize the conservation of biodiversity, especially forests, because forest plays very important role in supporting other biodiversity, especially wildlife. And due to that, there are certain negative impacts are mitigated due to the forest. Apart from that, conservation of natural water bodies and climate change mitigation is very important. So, climate change mitigation is very important to sustain biodiversity, because there is a direct impact of climate change on the ecosystems as well as people. So, it is very important to devise ecosystem based mitigation aspects and support livelihood generation, as Dr. Raval was emphasizing that biodiversity based livelihood generation aspects should be emphasized. That will be very supportive, not only in conserving the biodiversity, as well as you helping local people in sustaining themselves by adopting ecosystem based adaptation models. So ultimately, for climate change mitigation, biodiversity will play a very important role. Whatever policy frameworks are there for climate change mitigation, in that plantation activity is very important, apart from renewable energy and energy efficiency improvement, because plantation supports in carbon dioxide sinking. Marine system is also there, but in marine system, the amount of carbon is not as much as, and we cannot modulate also marine system as much we can modulate the plantations. So plantation will play a very important role in climate change mitigation, and it is very important to mainstream this into our different sectors. So, climate change policy framework emphasize forestry sectors in different protocols. In first commitment period of Kyoto Protocol, sustainable forest management was promoted and there was emphasis to cover the conservation and enhancement of forest as a sinks and reservoir for greenhouse gases, and afforestation and reforestation aspects was emphasized. As you all know, that clean development mechanism was very important tool in Kyoto Protocol, and in that forestation activity played very important role in supporting the mitigation of different type of uh, 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 climate change systems. Second commitment period of Kyoto Protocol, that was from 2013 to 2020. In that, reforestation, rehabilitation of degraded forest, reduced impact logging was emphasized, and RED plus initiative was also a very important part of one of the COP, and in that it was emphasized that forest conservation is also important. We can go for reforestation, we can go for afforestation, but if we are not going for conservation, then all practices will fail. In Paris Agreement also, carbon neutrality by enhancing sinks and reservoirs of GHG was emphasized, and in that our country has committed that for the reduction of emission intensity of its GDP by 33 to 35% by 2030 from 2005 level, creation of additional carbon sink of 2.5 to 3 billion tons of CO2 equivalent through additional forest and tree cover will be done by 2030. So different schemes have been promoted by our country from time to time. In that, some particular schemes were Green India Mission, National Agroforestry Policy, RED Plus program, Joint Forest Management, National Afforestation programs, devolution of about USD 6 billion under compensatory afforestation to states, Green Highway, and Green Wall. In current scenario, when COP 14 of desertation program was held in September 2019, in that Green Wall was promoted, the scheme was promoted, and in that Green Wall will be established from Panipat to the Porbandar, and this green wall will involve different native tree species, and their integrated system will be developed so that livelihood based model can be developed, and it will also support in climate change mitigation. So if we talk about biodiversity per se, so in Convention on Biodiversity, CBD, that held in Earth Summit in 1992, major emphasis was given on the biodiversity conservation, equitable sharing of resources, and involving all these practices into the policy of different parties. So after that, our country has also come up with the Biological Diversity Act in 2002, and then CBD also emphasized to have city biodiversity index, and Indian biodiversity business initiative was also emphasized in COP 12 of Convention of Biodiversity, that was held in Hyderabad in 2012, and then national biodiversity targets were also released by our government, and in that major emphasis was on biodiversity conservation by strengthening other areas also. Other areas means first is the evaluation of biodiversity. Without valuation, it is very difficult to know what is the cost of biodiversity that is supporting our different ecosystem services as well as functions and giving raw material to the business. So it first target was to value. Second was to value biodiversity into our national and state planning process. So it means that whatever GDP system we have to evaluate the economy, in that natural capital assessment will play very important role. third target is to reduce the rate of degradation, fragmentation, loss of all natural habitats. And this action was also integrated into different other schemes that was already supporting environmental amelioration and human well-being. So climate change is also part of this target. Fourth target emphasize of invasive alien species. As you all know that from time to time in our country, different multi-purpose tree species that are exotic have been promoted, like Lucina leucocephala or Prosopis juliflora, to support the fuel wood generation at the faster rate or providing other raw material. But in long term, these species are now invasive, and now can you imagine Prosopis juliflora and Lucina are growing in mangrove forest also, where pH level is very high. So it is very difficult to control them because they are causing a lot of competition in mangrove forest also. Uh, Next target was to adopt for sustainable management of agriculture, forestry, and fisheries. So in agriculture also, we are losing a lot of local species, and now we are more into hybrid species. So what we are observing, many nutrients as well as other aspects are changing from time to time, and it is affecting the health as well as soil health. So forestry and fisheries are also very important parts. Forestry for climate change mitigation and fisheries, especially in coastal areas. Then ecologically representative area on land and inland waters. So coastal and marine zones should be protected so that biodiversity conservation can also be emphasized. Next target emphasize on genetic diversity of cultivated plants, farm livestock and their wild relatives. And it was also emphasized that ecosystem services should be integrated into different aspects, like how they are providing services, how it is supporting our different activities, and how we can account the needs for local communities. Tribals depend more on ecosystem services. So how they can be integrated with that scientifically, and we can reduce the vulnerability due to climate change. Then target number 9 emphasize on the access to genetic resources and the fair and equitable sharing of benefits arising from their utilization. So if you read Biological Diversity Act 2002, you will find that these are the very important part of that act. Target number 10 emphasize on effective and participatory and updated National Biodiversity Action Plan. So National Biodiversity Action Plan is one of the most important aspect of that Convention on Biodiversity, and each and every party has to develop their action plan, and as per that they need to support different areas for biodiversity conservation. 11 target emphasize on national initiatives using communities, traditional knowledge about the biodiversity. And last target emphasize on opportunities to increase the availability of financial, human, and technical resources. So I was talking about natural capital assessment, and this area is comparatively new. Economic calculation of these resources are very difficult, and very few experts are there in our country who can justify this. So for integration of biodiversity conservation in municipal corporation through City Biodiversity Index, a tool is designed by under CBD, and Singapore was the first city to come up with City Biodiversity Index. That is why it is also known as a Singapore Index. In our country, Hyderabad was the first city to develop this index in 2012, and now many cities are coming up with this index, and it is a very important uh, area to basically to identify what type of biodiversity a city is containing. So the indicators that are used in city biodiversity index are proportion of natural areas, how much green areas it is having, how many water bodies are there, connectivity measures or ecological networks to counter fragmentation. Third is native biodiversity in built-up areas of bird species. 4 to 8 indicators are changes in the number of native species of vascular plants, birds, butterflies, and other optional areas. 9 target focuses on proportion of protected natural areas. 10th focuses on proportion of invasive alien species. 11 target indicator focuses on regulation of quantity of water in particular city. Number 12 indicator is climate regulation, carbon storage and cooling effect of vegetation. Indicators 13 to 14 are for recreational and educational services. Indicator 15 is about budget allocated to biodiversity. 16 number indicator is about number of biodiversity projects implemented annually. 17 number area is about rules, regulations, and policy, existence of local biodiversity strategy and action plan. Indicator number 18 to 19 is about institutional capacity. 20 to 21 is about participation and partnerships. And 22 to 23 is about education and awareness. So you all can see that these indicators are very comprehensive and it is covering very wide area under city biodiversity index. So for doing this, basically satellite data is used for georeferencing, and master plan of that particular city is also used for referencing. And time series land use, land cover data is extracted from our remote sensing agencies, and then on that basis city biodiversity indices generation is done. Directional division of land use, land changes, then landscape matrix generation is done. Then uncorrelated important landscape indices are also developed. Spatial indices, number of patches, patch cohesion index, split index, all these are the very important aspects under city biodiversity index to understand the spatio-temporal dynamics, change analysis, urban sprawl and pattern, and city biophysical resource analysis for sustainable development. So this index basically gives very important idea about how city is taking it forward in the case of biodiversity conservation and how it will attain the sustainability values, because under sustainability it is very important that city should be self-sustainable, and if city has to be self-sustainable, in that biodiversity has to be very important aspect. So for students I would like to tell that this is one of the most important current area of job to develop city biodiversity index. Next, in linkage of biodiversity is with business. So it was emphasized in CBD to link business and biodiversity, and our country has come up with the India Business and Biodiversity Initiative on the occasion of International Day for Biological Diversity in 2014, along with GIZ and CII. So GIZ basically supports MOEFCC in finding what are the different aspects of biodiversity, how we can go for management, and CII is more towards the training to business houses, how they can mainstream biodiversity and business. So presently there are 30 industries part of this initiative, and among them cement, power, steel, IT, chemical motors, FMCG are very important area, and they include Tata Group, Mahindra and Mahindra, ITC, Wipro. They all are part of IBBI. So in this year, during World Biodiversity International Day for Biological Diversity, uh, the CEO of Mahindra Holidays and Resort, Mr. Kavinder Singh, he is also chairman for IBBI currently. He emphasized that biodiversity should not be seen as an adjunct to businesses. It should rather be integrated in every core business philosophy. Nature is our biggest stakeholder, and we should focus on its sustainable management. Also, understanding its importance to our business and healthy living. So, aim of IBBI is to advocate public policies supporting business and biodiversity interface at national and international level by documenting, showcasing, and promoting good businesses practices nationally and globally. So, the management tools for IBBI first is identification of linkages and dependency between business and nature. So, like some of the industries are directly depending on biodiversity for their operations, like FMCG companies or those who are making food product based system. Some companies are indirectly related to biodiversity, like oil and gas companies or any automobile company, but their impact is very large on the biodiversity. So it is very important to identify how much dependency they have on biodiversity and how much impact they are doing on biodiversity in their value chain. So by identifying this aspect, it becomes very easy to devise the methodology for the biodiversity conservation. Second tool is risk assessment. As you know that if biodiversity will not be there, several industries will suffer in their operations and they may have to depend on other substitutes. But many times it is difficult to find out substitutes also. So it is very important to map the risk. How much risk will be there if water is not there or any raw material is not there. So industries have to do risk assessment process also. Third is natural capital indexing, ecosystem service metrics and valuation. There is a natural capital protocol, and that gives a tool for natural capital indexing and its valuation. So based on different ecosystem services, natural capital can be indexed and sector specific tools can be developed. So MOEFCC, GIZ and CII have developed different sector specific tools, and different industries are taking benefit of these tools. Fourth tool is setting up of targets and goals to develop sector-wise best practices. So, like some industries are into oil and gas, some industries are into automobile. So, how we can develop best practice where we have supported biodiversity conservation as well as different ecosystem services. So it is a very important aspect, and it is basically covered through reporting process. And this reporting process gives comprehensive detail of different sectors of industries and their dependency on biodiversity. So basically, this exercise, when any industry is doing, it helps them in multifarious activities, like they can showcase that in biodiversity conservation, they can showcase these activities into their sustainability goals, and also in climate change mitigation. Different industries have given showcases, they have given different case studies, and they are supporting different sustainable practices for biodiversity conservation. Here, I would like to cover some of the case studies. And first, I would like to take from Mahindra and Mahindra, that is their Igatpuri plant. And Igatpuri plant, that is in Maharashtra, it manufactures engines for utility vehicles, take huge amount of water from municipal corporation that comes from dam, and the downstream area of dam are dependent on water flow for aquatic life, flora and fauna. So whatever water they are taking, it should not affect the aquatic life. That is the main agenda. So during 2015, 2016 and 2017, when there was a heavy drought in Maharashtra, Mahindra and Mahindra was dependent on the tankers for water supply. So it was making lot of economic losses, as well as it is also affecting their sustainability index. So for the mitigation measures, they have started training of employees on behavioral change, how they can go for changes in their system and they can reduce the utilization of water. Then adaptation technologies that require less water. Third is greening of area by micro irrigation and construction of new check dams and storage of water in check dams. So due to all these initiatives, there was a reduction in water requirement in operation by 60% and from municipality by 75%. And there was also reduction in water bills that was up to 0.42 crore. So that is very important aspect, and these initiatives of Mahindra and Mahindra supported them in getting lot of benefits in sustainability aspect, as well as it has also covered the national biodiversity target too, that is about conservation of ecosystem services like fresh water and enhancing biodiversity conservation. Second case study I would like to take of NTPC Simhadri, because NTPC Simhadri was directly depending on Yelaru Canal for its water requirement, sweet water requirement. And nearby coastline is a breeding ground for olive redlet turtles that is under vulnerable category of IUCN. So olive redlet turtle conservation program in Andhra Pradesh was started in 2010 with an objective to include the community as a major stakeholder. So in 2015, NTPC Simhadri signed a 5-year agreement with the Andhra Pradesh Forest Department to partner in the conservation efforts in 9 coastal districts. The conservation initiatives covered 732 kilometers of coastal area out of the total 972 kilometer long coastline of Andhra Pradesh. So this intervention of NTPC Simhadri has supported the forest department in aligning resources for this critical activity and resulted in the increasing trend in hatchlings release in the seawater. This case study is mainstreaming National Biodiversity Target 6 for conservation of protected areas. So many students may like to join industries after their studies, and now in corporate sector, IBBI is very important area. And if students are having interest in biodiversity as well as ecosystem services, they can support these initiatives that will also cover sustainable development aspect as well as climate change aspect. So if we have to promote all these initiatives, it is very important to promote scientific afforestation on degraded land. So as you know, our country is having vast stretch of degraded land. So afforestation activity can also be covered under national biodiversity targets. And it is very important to select site-specific tree species and promote multi-purpose tree species for agroforestry system. They can promote integrated system of plantation-based livelihood generation approach and certify it from registered agencies. There are certain registered agencies that can certify a plantation on the CO2 sequestration aspect. And they can also purchase certified emission reductions from UNFCCC. So it will help them not only in covering the biodiversity aspect, but also in climate change mitigation. So now I will end my presentation here. If you have any questions, I will be very happy to answer.
Thank you so much, ma'am. You have to make sure that your house becomes an actual fortress while yeah, you have to ensure that your house becomes like an actual fortress with a proper curfew imposed, because otherwise doing this conference becomes impossible. So thank you so much for your talk, ma'am.
So, Professor, I think
Actually, we are
everything is
having
restored in
other
Mumbai.
yeah, everything is restored, sir, but there is no electricity for last 2 hours. So it is coming intermittently. So Wi-Fi is also very less. But I'm very
Okay.
happy that I have addressed this platform And I hope that my presentation will help all the students as well as young professionals.
Certainly, then it will help. It was a very nice presentation, Professor Seema. Thank you so much.
Yes. With this,
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
thank you,
Ma'am,
Professor.
Diksha ma'am, I would like to say something, please.
Yes, ma'am.
It is Dr. Mishra. Can I address her?
Yes, yes, absolutely, ma'am.
Ma'am, we have specialized course in the Masters in Biodiversity Conservation in our school. We have students are trained in biodiversity index, how to calculate and things like that. It is
To
really nice
calculate,
of
can
you.
you please
Am I
how
audible?
to do calculation of
City biodiversity index and how to collect
city
the data.
biodiversity index? Yeah, actually, yeah, for that